Moment now. Okay, so we're up and rolling now. Anyway, how are you this evening, my friend? Last night you were not here because you were Phil Myers joining us. Now I have two Republicans on the line. Isn't that wonderful?
Well, how much better did life get?
It gets better when Mark Thorner calls like he is right now because he's an old lefty, you know. And
Yeah, he doesn't always think that way. Like I mean, you may be a lefty, but you've got different ideas on things, and Mark's kind of the same way.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But anyway, hello to all of you. It's nice having you here, and I'm sure we'll be joined by other people, hopefully, as the evening goes on. Do we have many people listening to us? Yeah, we do. We're doing okay. Of course, the actual listenership on the radio thing goes down as the television one goes up. So it's some people go over and watch the TV coverage on livestream.com. new.livestream.com/A Bennett. And then you're in like Flynn. So how are we all doing now? Last night you had a football game, didn't you?
Yeah, I was watching that, and the whole time wondering why I'm not watching Megyn Kelly, because they really sucked. But
so does Megyn Kelly, so that's what they have in common, I imagine.
Well, yes.
I mean, we assume that Megyn Kelly sucks, don't we?
What is with Jim and his pith helmet?
What? No.
Jim got a pith helmet on.
Well, I haven't gotten this picture yet, and it's not a piss helmet; it's a pith helmet.
Yeah, yes.
Well, I'm waiting. His picture will probably pop in. I've been having.
It's because I'm feeling pithy tonight.
There he is. Oh my God, Livingston, I presume.
No, I'm just feeling pithy.
You feeling pithy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't you get a nice leopard print scarf and wrap it around your neck?
Well, now if you remove that pith helmet, you would be pithed off, wouldn't you?
That's right. There we go.
Let me see here. Where are we? Let me see if the picture here. Yeah, they can all see you on the TV with your pith helmet.
Oh, well, I removed it.
Oh, you removed it? Oh, no, we want you to keep it on for the whole night. No, if you're going to do that kind of thing, you got to do it for the whole night.
Was GABNet .net down?
I've said that about 5 times in the last half hour. Okay. Yeah, once again, GoDaddy, that server. He said, well, that server that serves that one. You see, GA Broadcasters in town is down. And I go, well, that happened last week, too. Are you ever going to fix that server? And he said, well, maybe it has a heavier load or something. And I may call them next week and say, move my load over to another server because it's getting a little tired. And then all of a sudden, all day long, Time Warner's been pissing out on me or pithing out on me. So it's not been technologically, it's not been a grand day. And then you know what else I found out? I'm getting too old for this job, Jim. As general manager, I think you're going to have to fire me.
I see.
Because I just realized I went to go make up the programming for the weekend, which is basically going to be just a lot of reruns of shows we've done all week. And I went back to GABNet, the regular GABNet programming that was playing from last night. And ever since Labor Day, I've still been running the Labor Day promo.
Well, that's okay.
And
nothing like a little. We're getting ready. We're getting people ready for next year.
Yeah, well, it's the promo. In case you heard, it's the promo for next year. Right. Good.
Give him a pay cut and take his show away on the weekend.
Yeah. But I mean, it's just getting to be like I don't know. I'm really screwing up. And then thanks to Albert, I hope he's happy. I've got to make all these changes this weekend on the website. So I will be spending my weekend doing that.
I thought Rod changed his show's name to Rob Alfano's Exchange.
Yes.
Yeah, you said Experience.
Well, I say Experience. I meant Exchange.
Yes.
God, I hope I didn't. I hope that tile I made up doesn't say Experience now. No, it says exchange.
Yeah.
Hey,
'Cause
if he would have just called it the same thing as Albert's show, all you had to do was exchange the picture, and you could have left the tile alone.
It's funny. I went to go look at the picture on my Photoshop, and so did everybody else who's watching the TV show. So.
Oh, it'd be like the learning addicts.
Well,
They'll learn something.
I think we should come up with a methodology for naming shows, because it's kind of like when somebody goes into porn. Doug, did you hear that? Porn. When you go into porn, you have to pick your porn name, and nobody ever picks a name like I don't know, Jane Ramsey, or something like that, right? No, it's always, wanna lot, things like that. But the way in which they used to do it, this was how you did it. Like, for instance, Patrick,
Yes.
what street do you live on? Just the name of the street.
Oh yeah, I've heard that. Rivershire.
Rivershire, okay. And what was the name of the first pet you ever had?
Dusty.
Okay,
Oh,
Dusty
Dusty
Rivershire. That's your porn name.
You bet.
Okay. How about you, Phil? What street do you live on?
Tunnel.
Now wait a minute. That's a great porno name.
I was just going to reverse the middle and the first name is Lee Phillips.
No.
You
We're giving you a porno name now. So it's Tunnel Street, right, or whatever.
Tunnel Road, yeah.
Tunnel Road. Okay. And what was the name of the first pet you ever had?
Baron.
Oh, Baron Tunnel. That's your porn name. How about Mark? Mark?
Tiffany Lane.
Whoa.
You had a cat or dog named Tiffany?
No, that's the street I live on.
Oh, you live on Tiffany Lane. Well, we don't even have to find out who the pet is.
Max.
Max Lane.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, of course, Jim. Is anybody else going to call us tonight? Although I said that last night about this time, and then by midnight we were all full up. Jim, let's see.
I already have a porn name. It's Tuber Propagator.
No. Forget that.
No, it doesn't work for me. I live on a highway.
Is it called? What's the
Well,
highway?
highway's good.
What's the highway called?
Highway 23 North. That's
But just take north. Just take north.
And what was the first pet you ever had?
Woody.
Woody.
There you go,
Woody
Woody
North.
Yeah. Well,
North
there we go.
Highway.
Oh, that's a great porno name, isn't it? Woody North.
Yeah.
So anyway, if other people would like to call us and talk to us tonight, we can. Where is everybody tonight? Did I offend anybody?
I don't think that's the reason people don't call.
Really?
I don't think it's like, Alex insulted me today, I'm not calling.
Let's see here. How many people did we lose when we went to TV? Oh, yeah. We lost a bunch of people when we went to TV.
And they're probably confused with the whole GABNet GA broadcaster thing.
Well, the GABNet thing being down never helps. Okay? But this is the life I lead.
That's right.
And it's terrible. I mean, today it's been one technological thing after another.
Maybe you shouldn't have gotten rid of those boxes from Play TV, and you could have used those instead of GoDaddy.
Well, we can't use those. And they weren't boxes.
Well, they were good-looking boxes.
They were better than that. Hi, Tony.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm hanging in there.
Yeah.
My mother was watching something with Joan Rivers, practically gifted. They were saying something.
Yeah. A lot of people are doing shows about Joan Rivers tonight.
It looked like she looked like she was ready to cry, Kathy. I don't know if it was true.
Well, you know what got me? I'm watching all the late night people. They kept running clips of them. Diane Weeks is here. Hello, Diane. How are you?
Hi, good. I wanted to get in on this porno name discussion and see if Oh, where's the pith hat? I want to see the pith hat.
Yeah, well, maybe later.
It's not you myth the pith helmet.
And I want to hear Tony's porn name too.
Yeah, okay, but first let's get Diane.
Okay.
Although Diane Weeks is not a bad name for porn, but you got to change it because nobody should know who you are. Wait a minute, I remember that vagina from high school. Anyway, what street do you live on?
Oh gosh, Partition.
Partition. I think we're going to have a good one here. What was your pet? What was your pet's first name?
Charlie.
Charlie Partition.
That could be a woman's name, I guess.
Yeah, but you have to do it with like Charali. You don't put the E at the end. Yeah.
Right. Like the old perfume. Remember the old Charlie perfume?
Yeah, but Charlie Partition. God, I just thought there was something coming up that would have really worked, but I guess not.
I used to try to go by Diamazon back in the day.
Diamazon?
Yeah, Diamazon, because I'm kind of big and tall, and went back to when I used to strut around on a stage, showing my goods.
What do you mean strut around on the stage? Were you a...
I was a topless dancer for many years. I might as well say it. Most people know it. Jim already said it on his program, so more or less. In my 20s, that's what I did.
You were And Doug isn't here tonight. This is like Doug missed the best night to be here.
Because I was half the woman I am now, of course, but it was an interesting experience.
Did you do good on tips?
Excuse me?
I said, did you do good on tips?
Oh. That's a legitimate
Did you get a lot of nickels? I said nickels.
Next, he's going to say, I'll take change.
But a lot of it was selling drinks. I mean, at least in California, they won't really want you out there selling the drinks. That was a big thing. You had to have a good sales, amount of sales.
Yeah.
So I learned how to hustle drink.
What did you do? Lap dance in those days, or?
No, I never did that. That was, and I never did the pole thing. Everybody thinks, everybody does that. We didn't do that. This was back in the 80s. So, actually,
did you work in a famous club or establishment?
No, I've been mainly sailor bars in San Diego.
Sailor bars in San Diego. I used to be in the Navy in San Diego.
Oh, okay. Do you remember the booby trap?
No, I didn't go. As I said last night, I didn't go to those places. When I was in Florida, working in Florida, I got to know a lot of comedians there, and after they get through with their gigs, they would all go to what they referred to as the titty bars.
Mm-hmm.
And so they would, come on, Alex, come go with us. Well, again, my gentleman part of me, the thing that my father always said, you have to be a gentleman, And to sit there and watch some woman naked made me feel very uncomfortable. And it made me feel uncomfortable because if you walk in on somebody and they're naked, you go, oh, excuse me, and you avert your eyes and you leave the room, right?
I think a lot of guys to start, are like that, and then it's just like maybe a peer pressure thing. And what kept them coming back is they like the conversation, and especially the guys in the Navy. They're away from home, you're away from their girl, whatever, and you just become friends, and they like to. I mean, they come in there more to talk to you, and it was more.
They're not going to get anything else in that place. But the thing is, now here's the thing that bothered me. It was the hygiene question. And you're going, well, Alex, how is that? And let me explain. There was this round bar, and then it had a center to it, and the woman would dance on top of it while you would sit around the bar with your drink as the women danced and bumped and grind, topless and bottomless.
Yeah.
Right?
Did a little bit of that, mostly topless.
And my
though.
greatest fear is that a pubic hair would fall in my drink.
Most guys would wish for that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyway.
Legitimate, yeah. Well, the one time, yeah, I did that. I was high up. It was way, they were. Oh boy, that was a wild place.
Yeah.
The bar was kind of interesting. The bar was kind of around the stage.
So what happened to that career?
Oh well, I got close to my 30. I got
Wait
close
a minute,
to.
guys. Am I proper in calling it a career, Patrick?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I did it for 10 years. I did it for most of my 20s.
Oh.
Well, I got close to 30, and I was like, I really don't want to be doing this in my 30s. I mean, I've seen some old bro, really pushing 40 up there, and I was like, no.
You got more dignity.
So I joined the Navy.
Really?
I did. I had my 30th birthday in boot camp.
Really? So how long were you in the Navy?
For 8 years.
Really?
Yeah, I was aviation electronics technician.
Oh, son of a bitch. Well, I was in the Navy too. Yeah.
Were you
I know,
always stateside?
What?
Yeah.
Were you always stateside, or did you travel?
I did a little bit of traveling. We went to Adak, Alaska for a deployment because back when I was in, they didn't allow women on the aircraft carriers, and I was in aviation, the Airedales. So the year I got out in '94, they changed the law. But so we used to go do the far out for our sea duty. We would go out like the end of the Aleutian Islands. But that was one of my thing. But my biggest, my best adventure was going to New Zealand. I went there for 5 months, and then to the South Pole. I went down to Antarctica for a deployment, 5-month deployment. But I never made it much further than that. Never got to Europe.
That's pretty cool, though. Especially the South Pole.
The South Pole. There's actually a pole down there, like a barbershop pole.
Really?
There really is. And down at the Edmondson Scott Center there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was interesting. Watch the sun go around in a circle for 5 months.
Yeah, I had a comedian call me once from Alaska. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. He says, "Alex, help me." I said, "Why?" He says, "It's 3 o'clock in the morning and the sun is still up." Do you have that problem up there, Jim? You're not that far north that,
No, but we're far enough. And when I've lived farther north, going to the drive-in theater on the weekend was a problem because sometimes you couldn't get the movie to start until about midnight.
Wow.
Oh.
At least they had a drive-in theater.
Yeah, so if you're there for a double bill, it stretches to about when the sun starts to come up.
Like for instance, the shortest day of the year up there. Okay, well, I mean the longest day of the year rather. When does the sun go down? When does it come up and when does it go down?
In Revelstoke?
Yeah. Guess who we've been joined by? I've never been joined by this guy before. That fracking cat is here. Hello.
Hey, meow.
Hi, Bob.
Hey, Alex, Jim, Diane.
Yeah. I'm not familiar with the nomenclature. Do I call you fracking or cat?
Cat's fine.
Or Mr.
Or Bob.
How about Mr. Cat?
Ooh.
Oh, that's nice.
You are a cat lover.
Well, he's that fracking cat, for crying out loud.
Mr. Cat sounds fine. It sounds like I'm finally getting some kind of respect or something.
Yeah,
Never
okay.
happened before.
On this show, you will be known as Mr. Cat.
More than you get on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays.
Oh, by the way,
True.
This would be interesting. What street do you live on?
Oh, I've already done this. My name would be Tom Myrtle.
Tom Myrtle? That's no porno name.
We said we already were
Better
talking
off
about
with Mr. Cat.
He was a porn director.
Yeah, that or a producer or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine would have been. Let me see. What was my first pet? We gave him a Chinese name. Saifu, which means crazy cat.
So what are you, Saifu 7th Avenue?
Saifu Filbert.
That's a good one.
because I lived on Filbert. Well, now I live on 7th Avenue. That doesn't work, does it?
Well, Avenue. There you go.
Wait a minute, no way. I live on Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Boulevard.
Boulevard.
And I would go over well on Phil.
That doesn't work well either. But anyway, what I was going to say is, what is the shortest and longest days you have up there?
I don't know. I guess the longest day, I don't think it's, I don't know, sometimes close to 10 o'clock. But it's still light.
Yeah, 10 o'clock. Okay.
Yeah.
'Cause it's about, I think California got to about 9:30, 9:15, something like that.
Yeah.
The sun's already down. It's dark here, and I see that Jim's window, if that's not a light.
I have it blocked at the moment. Oh, it's getting kind of dark. Oh, I can see a sunset.
Oh.
There was too much sun earlier, so I had to block the window.
Yeah, you have certain problems in that studio of yours. I mean,
Broadcasting center?
At
Yes.
the Log Broadcasting Center. Yeah.
The little singe
Now,
marks
last
around
night,
it.
last night, oh boy. I don't know why it is at this time of the night the pollen starts getting to me. Anyway, Patrick last night wasn't with us because Patrick. Oh, thank you. I'll come to California and get it. Patrick wasn't here last night because Patrick had to watch a football game.
Yeah, a losing football game.
Where your team got slaughtered. I understand.
It sucked ass, but it was football. And as I was saying earlier, I recorded Megyn Kelly so I could watch her after I listened to all the after talk after the game locally.
Mm-hmm.
I put that on, and then I put her on, and she's on mute anyway, so I could watch her while I was listening to the dissection of the game. So.
Yeah. Because I wanted to ask you last night, are you totally satisfied with Mr. Jim? I call him Mr. Jim because that's his last name, just like Mr. Cat's last name is Cat. Are you that happy with Mr. Jim putting you in precarious situations? Because on his show last Wednesday night, he literally rolled you into a fire.
No, he didn't roll me in.
Oh.
Remember, we don't take wheelchairs on adventures that are not needed. He put me on a ladder and shoved me into the fire. Miranda was behind me, and
Who was behind you?
but we lost her in the
Randy.
fire because she
And
went crazy.
You know, I caught you when you were using your lightsaber to try and make her see you.
Yeah. I
So
was
technically,
talking-
this is Miranda's fault.
Let's always blame it on Miranda when she's not here.
No.
Okay.
No.
What?
She's always got my back. She's the one person that's always helping me out.
Yeah.
She pushed you right in.
Well, I'm your closest friend, really, but you don't know it, because I suggested to Jim, I think it was yesterday, that his next adventure night he should take you to a strip joint and let you get a lap dance.
Yeah.
You know how many fucking years it's been since I've had a lap dance?
Do you know how many fucking years it's been since you had a lap? Anyway.
Well, yeah, that's true. You know what? I wouldn't even know what to do at a strip club because I'm so far beyond that. And I think I told you the last time I had
Patrick, you only have to sit there.
Yeah, but the problem is, the last time that I went in, I was at a music store with a friend of mine, and there was a radio promotion going on. We weren't aware of the radio promotion. He happened to like the DJs. He said, "Let's go in here, let's see what they're doing." Well, I said, all right, that's fine. So I was looking at some CDs, and I hear, "Hi, Patrick."
Was that at a strip club?
No, this was at a music store.
A music store. Okay.
And I hear, "Hi, Patrick," from two female voices across the store, and there are two strippers that I knew from a strip club, and they recognized me. And I realized at that point I was done because I had just gotten a promotion at work and I didn't need any of the headache that goes along with knowing strippers if I happen to be out in public with some of my clients. So,
well, wait a minute. Hold on a second. What's the headache of going out with strippers?
Yeah, good
what's
question.
the headache? The headache is if my clients frequented the same places, it becomes an issue. And,
Plus, you keep getting hit with those twirly things, you know.
well, yeah, you know, I drew the line at that
let me tell Phil something. Phil,
Yeah.
I know it's been years, but there are no more twirly things.
Oh, well, I have
Women do not cover their nipples
30,
with
40 years.
I don't even think Diane in her day had twirly things on her nipples. Did you?
When I first started doing it, I did have some pasties just to see, just for the heck of it. But this was back in like 1977, I think, when I started. But even then, it was out of style by then. But I was working with some old burlesque queens, and they kind of hooked me up just for the heck of it.
Yeah. Your sound, for some reason, your sound is really weird.
Oh, maybe my fan. I should probably turn this fan
Yeah,
on.
that's probably.
It would be a fan that would do that?
Maybe the voice is getting reflected off the
fan. Are you there? Let's hear
circulating.
you talk.
Is it better now? I just turned.
Yeah. Oh, it's fine. Yeah, but before it sounded like I don't know. You had some kind of harmonic in there or something.
Or maybe
Do you ever talk into a fan? You know, and hear the way your voice sounds?
I did many times.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the kind that roll
Because I
around?
was kind of leaning towards the mic, which is right next to the fan. Oh, okay. So I turned it off now. Is it better?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because you know how it is. It's a little warm here in New York.
Yeah, but basically, Phil, pasties and twirly things haven't existed in years.
The only time I was in a strip club, I was putting the floor covering in.
Oh boy.
Really? You know, I knew Duke on Broadway. I did all of those places.
Well, that was one of the greatest stories of all time. What happened at the Condor?
Oh, the piano
yeah.
going up?
Let me tell them. You know the story, don't you, Jim?
Yes, I do.
There's this place called the Condor where Carol Doda, who was the first woman ever to inject silicone into her breast, played every night. And she did it in the day when they injected silicone in there. They didn't put in bags or whatever. But anyway, she would. Yes, Patrick.
I think Tony's gonna vomit.
Are you
I think this whole conversation has turned. Tony has had this look of like he's watching a horror movie and he doesn't know whether to shit his pants or run.
I'm actually trying to follow this. I'm amazed how you know so much about this. It's amazing.
I actually designed the floor at the Condor after it got sold.
Yeah.
They took the piano out, and I created a vinyl tile floor that looked like a piano, like a grand piano, in the same spot with the black and white keys and so forth.
Yeah.
And that was one of my creations.
Your contribution. But anyway, here's what happened. So Carol Doda would do the show, and it was a very small club. So what they had was a piano that hung up on the ceiling, and then I guess up on the second floor there was a hole, so she could go stand on the piano, and then they would lower it down into the center of the club with her standing on the piano, and she would do her little strip act. Okay? So one night, this is absolutely true, the manager of the club, I think it was, was coming on to one of the strippers after the place had closed down, and they started having sex together. He was going down on her, and she was reacting to his sexual prowess, let's say. You know what I'm talking about, Tony, or do we have to explain this to you?
I'm following.
It's called eating pussy. Anyway, he was going down on her, and she was so excited her foot hit the lever that made the piano come down.
Shit.
And the piano comes down. Tell me if I've got this story wrong, Phil. And crushes his head into her crotch.
I know somebody got killed, but
he suffocated to death.
Oh my God.
that's a good way to go.
I'm fine with that.
This is am I right, Phil? This is an absolutely true story.
Yeah,
it was in the
true
San
story.
Francisco Chronicle the next morning. Everybody was going to work, reading the newspaper and laughing their heads off. But this guy had died. He'd suffocated to death, being smothered in this woman's pussy by the killer piano at the Condor.
Yeah.
And I could just see it now, when the wife comes to identify her husband, and they say, is that your husband? Yeah, but he didn't used to have a beard. And I had a hard time burying him because it took 3 days to wipe the smile off his face. But, I mean, what a way to go. And it's absolutely true. It is not,
Yeah, that's a very true story.
it is not urban legend,
It's a true story.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
And
Amazing.
I think I even remember it happening while I was on the air at the station. So, of course, we had fun with that morning,
Yeah.
Oh,
But SAW Entertainment bought it after, and then they turned it into a different kind of club. That's when I did the floor. But they still had the Condor sign.
Yeah, but I mean, were they still a strip club or whatever?
No.
That whole street kind of changed, and it's no longer strip clubs and stuff like that.
No. There's, places like the Hungry Eye. They sell magazines and so forth. The place next door to the Hungry Eye.
Yeah.
I actually did the carpet in the Hungry Eye.
Yeah, you did the hard carpet in the Hungry Eye too.
Yeah,
This
and the
man-
Palladium Disco and
Yeah.
a number of other ones there.
So you know about munching carpet then?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So.
yeah. And I did Duke's Place where they filmed Hardcore with George C. Scott, Tiffany's massage parlor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So you did a lot of the strip joints in town
because I knew Duke.
because
Yeah.
you knew Duke.
Yeah.
And Duke was, again, I met him on one or two
Yeah, I took
occasions.
we went to dinner with him. He owned Tiffany's massage parlor, and $1 talked to a nude girl. It was one of those things where they had a booth. They put a Susan B. Anthony dollar in. The booth has a screen that went up, and you could talk to the girl through a telephone.
Mm-hmm.
And then a minute later, the screen goes down. You had to put another dollar in.
I'm trying to remember. There was a story I remember, another story. Like I have nothing but stories. That's all I've got left. When you get my age, that's all you've got left are stories. And there was something. But I was talking to a woman who worked at that place,
At Tiffany's,
at
or
one
at
of those
that one?
places where they had
Yeah.
you would talk to the naked woman, and the thing would go up, and you talk to a naked woman. Then when your money had run out, come back down again.
Right,
And
exactly.
she said she loved nothing more than to be doing something or about to do something when the thing would come down, or to tell a story. And
The guy had to put more money in.
no. I know what the story was. It was a comedian I know who went in there, and he put in the quarter. The thing raised up. He started to tell a joke, and timed it so that just as he was about ready to give the punchline, the screen came back down again, and all he could hear from the other side was.
Turnabout's fair play.
Yeah. But anyway, well, they unionized, by the way. Hey, listen, you know what I got today? Got to tell you this. I'm sorry Miranda's out to dinner with her parents because she would love what I bought today. The girlfriend had a bad iPhone. Some of them went bad. The batteries died early, and so hers was getting down to the point where she'd charge it, and by noon it was already depleted. So she went to them, and they said, "Oh, yours is one of the defective ones. We'll replace the battery." So today she had to take the battery in, and in 2 hours they replaced the battery in the iPhone. I thought what they did is they just gave you another iPhone, but they don't. They just actually replace the batteries. So of course I'm in the Apple store, and I am so addicted, and I think that fracking cat can kind of sympathize with me on this, that I had to buy something while I was there. So I've got this a mouse, right? These magic mice that that they have it
Nice.
with Albert. A magic mouse. I don't think it ever goes to mice, does it, Cat?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, you would call
Cat eats.
if you had well, what if you had two of them? Would you say I have two mouses?
Actually, I do. I've got like 3 mice.
Ah, but now you said mice.
Mice.
Said
It's
mice.
mice.
Okay.
Mises.
Mises, and you hate them to
I
pieces.
hate mises to pieces.
Right, exactly. So
Cats
anyway,
love mouses.
what? So anyway, so I saw this thing and it said, never use batteries ever again. You put this thing in the bottom of the thing, and then they give you this thing, which is, if I can hold it up, see it?
Uh-huh.
And that's just like a flat little pad. And when you want to recharge it, you just drop it on the pad, and by convection, it charges the mouse.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, but it's good for 8 days. But then it takes like 6 hours to charge. So I figure I'll put it on there every night and not worry about it. But I just got so sick and tired of all of a sudden I'm working here and it goes, batteries are running low, and now I got to go over and get one of the Kirkland batteries, 2 of the Kirkland batteries I bought at Costco, and I just figured this is easier. I never have to worry about them again, and it works on the USB port, and it's terrific. That's my little hint for today.
Is Kirkland the new Radio Shack? Used to be that if you wanted cheap batteries, you went to Radio Shack, and that's where you got them.
No, Kirkland is the house name for any brand made
Costco,
by
right.
Costco. And, their batteries are just as good as the batteries right next to them. What I always tell people at Costco is if you're going to buy something and you're going to go and you're going to get like, let's say you're going to get some kind of antacid, right? And you've got the brand name expensive antacid there, which they carry, and then right next to it you have the thing that says compare to, right, Zantac, for instance, all right? And the fact is, it's probably made by Zantac.
Yeah.
But they make sure that it has a certain
tumor propagator. No, forget that.
What's that?
Why does it work? I live on a highway.
What
It's
is
a rewind.
That's
Somebody's doing
the
a rewind.
show we were running about a half hour ago. Where
Not
was
me.
it? It's not you.
No.
Where was that coming from?
Oh, it was Diana?
Diana, were you doing anything? What were you doing, Diana? Huh?
All of a sudden, my phone just started playing the tune in. I have to turn it off.
I was playing TuneIn.
Did you pause it?
Yeah, if you pause it, sometimes it'll pick up where it left
Diana's
off.
taking over for Rob. She's starting to do the rewind edit.
Yeah, right, exactly, exactly. But anyway, Rob didn't have to do any rewinds this week or ever again, which I'm happy for him. So what's happening in the news, you guys? Anything that let me ask Mark, because Mark, I listen to you on the. I feel bad. Can I say I feel bad about you, Mark, on this show?
Why?
And here's why I feel bad. Well, I'll tell you. I feel bad because whenever I listen to you on like Miranda's show or I listen to you on Jim's show, you're very verbose. And on this show, you're kind of like, I don't hear from you that often. And I think there's something I'm doing that's not welcoming you.
No, it's not that. It's just that as I look from I'm looking down that way, there's a lot of other voices on this panel. Just and I'm listening. I want to take in. And sometimes I feel that I'm not as informed on certain subjects.
Well, where you're really good is like on all the a lot of cultural stuff. You're really good on. Comic books and things like that.
When it comes to movies, he's got so much knowledge. It's amazing.
Yeah. So
Now that Doug's here, I have to disappear.
Well, wait a minute. Doug isn't here yet. Are you there, Doug?
That rhymes.
Are you there, Doug?
There he is.
I'm here.
Oh, he's there. So, well, you got to go do a show, right, Jim?
Yeah, I gotta go get ready. So
He's got to go get ready. What? This is like what it was? Catch Up Friday?
Yeah, Jim.
Yeah.
Oh wait! Once again, there's Jim with with his pith
Little safari
helmet
hat on.
Yep.
Well, that's a big turn on for me, Jim.
I'm glad.
Yeah, we're all getting hard-ons, and
Okay.
Diane's nipples are getting hard.
Oh, yeah.
And she's got those twirly things.
Yeah, she's got those twirly things on. So
Look at the top. Look at the top of that hat, though. Yeah, kind of.
Oh, yeah. Little,
you mean the nipple? Is that what you're thinking, Doug?
Look at it.
By the way, Doug, we're not.
And I'm not referring to a nipple either. Anyway.
No, really? Oh, okay. Anyway, Jim, thanks for calling, and we'll talk to you later. Doug, we're not getting a picture out of you, so you might want to turn your camera on and off again.
I got my camera on.
Yeah, well,
I see his picture.
Oh, well, I don't see his picture, so
You don't want to see my picture.
it'll come up eventually, or if it there he is. Oh God, now I have to look. I have to look at it.
It's interesting. I always find it interesting, because when I listen, I turn off GABNet so that I can get on Skype, and there's a delay there. And the last thing I heard was, I don't remember, was I think you were talking to Mark about movies or whatever he was doing or whatever. And then the first thing I hear when I get on here is Doug talking about a nipple, and I missed something. So there's a gap that I missed.
Well, no, that's the thing. There's no transition. That's exactly how it went.
Yeah, yeah. There was no transition at all.
And I just get on.
It only took Doug.
I haven't listened to any of the programs, so
yeah.
Doug just comes
well,
on
you
and
never
starts
listen to
talking
any of the
about porn
program
nipples.
anyway, even when you're on it.
No. Don't blame me. Blame Jim for putting that hat on.
What was wrong? It was a pith helmet. If you're in the jungle, it protects.
Responsibility for that.
Look at that hat.
Huh?
Anyway, never mind. Go ahead.
I said it looked nipply, so I'll take responsibility for that.
Yeah.
Shut
Shut up. How's the dog, Tony?
Yes.
I put her in the cage. She's sleeping.
You put her in the cage. She's sleeping. Isn't that cute?
Is the dog right next to you?
She knocks on. No, it's in the other room over there. It's probably the TV, but the TV.
I remember Alex did that thing. Let's all scream to try to wake the dog up. So.
No.
At least we're not corrupting her pure mind, her innocent mind.
I don't want to do that. That's like screaming to wake you up.
If I scream, my wife would come down yelling at me. She's already mad at me already. So.
What's she mad at you about?
For living, breathing, everything else.
Yeah, I asked. That was the stupidest question I've ever asked on this program.
We all are
What
mad
did you
about
do to
that.
piss her off?
You need to go back on the road there, Doug.
Yeah. Now, Mark is vaping tonight, aren't you, Mark?
Yep.
Now, do you vape tobacco, or are you just vaping something else?
Oh, it's tobacco.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now, do you get the same punch from it that you would get off of a cigarette?
That's the weird thing. You really do. It's like,
Now,
cheaper than cigarettes.
Now, has anybody determined if vaping is cheaper, not cheaper, but is better health-wise than smoking actual tobacco?
I think it has to be.
Well, you vape as well, right? I see you vaping.
Well, now, I have backslid. I've gone back to the cigarettes, but I need to get back on the vaping and just stop buying cigarettes.
Okay, but
the last couple months, my life.
But is there any medical?
Yeah, you lighten up all the time, Dan.
I know. I got to stop, and I'm going to do it right now.
Hey, listen, this is the first. I've been. Hold on, I got to keep my voice down. I don't want my wife to hear. But anyway, I've been smoking weed for the longest time, and many times I bought it. This is the first time I've ever got it, in a little thing like this.
It's merchandising. It's got.
But from somebody from the hood.
It's got. Wait a minute. Look. Hold it up again. You got that in the hood, with a pink top. Pink top.
That's kind of nice.
That's the first time I ever got it.
What do you have? What do you have?
I'm just curious, just for educational purposes, what did that little amount cost?
Well, listen, this guy is ripping me off. I admit it.
Look, we're not asking whether you. We can assume that once you tell us what the price is.
$40 and a 12-pack of beer.
Oh, yeah, that's.
You wait a minute.
But like
I think he got ripped off a little
He
bit
can't
there.
afford it.
$5
Charging you $40 for that.
Thank you for verifying that. Okay, I'm like, that's a nickel, isn't it?
Well, they're like, hey, Doug's coming.
Hold it up again. Hold it up closer. Hold it up closer.
Salesmen are the easiest ones to rip off.
Hold it up closer to the camera.
You know that's true because my brother is a car salesman and a very good one, but he'll fall for anything, and he's like he wants to reward.
I bought a car once. I said to my friend, I am not going to buy this car. I am not going to buy this car. I go in. The guy says, you want to test drive it? I test drove it. I came back. He says, you want to buy it? I said, yeah. And I paid full price.
Well, listen. This is a situation here. I've been buying from this guy for 12 years. I'm a white, kind of white collar professional. I met this guy. I pretty much said, you get what I want. You can get, you get the same amount I want. And here's a 12-pack of beer because it's like, and he gives it to me. It's, he's the middleman. I don't mind paying that.
So this is an ongoing relationship that
you get
cruise
the same
wheels one way or another. Be nice to me, and
You gave him, Doug. You gave him the 12-pack, or he gave you the 12-pack?
Unfortunately, it used to be a 6-pack, and now it's like gone up to 12-pack.
Yeah, but who gave who?
There, me to him.
You to him. Okay.
But the reason I do that though is sort of like if I would go like buy his work or something, like, hey, here's your money. The quicker you get it to me, here's a little bit of a benefit.
It's an investment in future goodwill.
But listen, I don't smoke a whole lot. I got a little one hitter. This little bit of amount will last me 4 to 5 days. Just here, and plus with the mass quantities of beer I drink, life's good. And so
not for us, Doug.
So it's just nicotine. It's like
the more you drink, the worse life gets for us, and the better it gets for you.
Well, anyway,
yeah.
Well, if you just smoke pot, you'd be like me and not say anything. So usually,
wait a minute. Let's see that jar. Let's see that little jar again.
Have you ever tried crack?
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, when it used to be freebasing back in the early '80s, I did my share of that there. And then
really?
I tell you, one time I realized it was like, Doug, you got a problem here. I was going to go down spring break. I still have problems now, but even problems back then.
Do you have problems? Really?
Yeah.
No.
Really? No way.
But now let me finish my little story here. But I was going to go to spring break down in Daytona Beach. I was going to buy my little share of cocaine.
Oh God, he's going to tell us a story.
Okay, I'm not going to freebase or anything like that. I freebased all that damn night, up the whole damn night, could not fall asleep. Go down to spring break, and I turned religion. It was like, I am not going to do anything. I'm not going to drink. I'm not going to do anything else. And it's obviously, that did not last very long. But anyway, so fucked up my spring break. But that was the last time I ever did crack.
In your hands, a really good story just turns out really dull. I don't know what it is. You have this ability to take a story. I mean, like maybe it's just the fact that I'm trained to have this talent that I could talk about being hooked on something and maybe make it stimulating and interesting for 15 minutes. But with you can take something like that and just turn it into the dullest thing in the world.
Even Sonny Bono used to say when he was the mayor, he said they come on in spring break. He says they come on vacation and they leave on probation. I thought that was one of his greatest
that did not happen
quotes.
to me that time. It did not happen to me. It was like the most boring vacation I ever had because of the night.
Did you say that time?
What did you say, Kat?
I said, did you say that time?
It was a boring vacation.
Well, I never freebased and I never did crack. But do you remember me back in those days, Phil, when I was doing some drugs?
Oh yes. I even went and got some.
What drugs was I doing?
Cocaine.
Yeah, I did. I did my fair share.
cocaine.
I didn't do enough to
Smoke pot a little, I think.
Well, I smoked pot, but I didn't do enough cocaine. I did about $10,000 a year worth of cocaine. But
you know,
wait a minute, I was
a lot of
making like
people
I was making $400,000 a year.
I understand, but you know, when you were doing those Bennett, things with the comedy, people were coming backstage with tons of it. You didn't have to buy. Maybe you spent 10 grand, but they gave you another 100 grand worth. During the rest of the time.
But I did my fair share, not to a point of dysfunctionality. But I was always quite functional and so on. But it got to a point where, you know what happens is they spread around these rumors that quitting is horrible, right? And so nobody quits because they don't want to go through that horribless of quitting, so they just keep doing.
They quit because they run out of money.
Well,
they can't collect unemployment though.
But the point I'm making is that the only reason I never quit at that point was I was afraid, it might be difficult.
I don't think you were ever addicted. I just
well,
think
what
was
happened
there.
was, get this.
Yeah.
I lost my job in San Francisco, not because of coke. I just lost my job in San Francisco. I lost my job.
That could be copyrighted.
No, I said job.
No.
But anyway, I got a job in Miami, Florida.
I remember.
I moved to Miami, Florida, and I quit. Now imagine moving to Miami in those days. That was like the cocaine capital of the world.
Yeah.
And I quit. I quit by going to Miami because I decided I didn't want to do it anymore. And secondly, I was in a town where I didn't know anybody who was selling it. All I would have had to do,
anybody you could trust.
Well, in Miami, all I had to do was yell out the window, but I didn't.
Yeah.
So that's when I quit. Yes, Doug has another interesting story about his fabulous life.
No, I was going to ask you a question about your fabulous life. Have you ever done mushrooms?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did those a couple times, and it was like, it was the same thing with crack. It was bad.
What? It was the same thing as crack? What mushrooms were you using?
I did mushrooms.
You did?
I mean, it's two
wait a minute.
different
Hold on a
kinds,
second. Hold on a second. We just had a revelation here. What is
stuffed mushrooms?
gee.
I thought it was canned.
I mean, there are two different highs and all that, but it was just one
What
of
do
those
you
things.
mean
It was like,
crack?
this is bad for me.
Mushrooms.
This is bad for me
Hold on
too.
a second.
Sure.
The high you get from crack is a
serious rush.
Stop trying to fill in what I'm going to say.
Sorry.
These are not mind drugs. These are just simply body drugs. They speed you up and they do all kinds of things like that. Psilocybin, which is mushrooms, is a very spiritual drug in which you get religious visions.
Is that true?
Now, if you didn't get that, somebody had put something in your mushrooms.
What do you see other things?
Now, I was like hallucinating, but mine was like.
I hate for a moment to even imagine what you would hallucinate.
Can you imagine Doug on crack?
It was
Beer bottles running around.
No, it was actually very minor, and I drank a pretty good bit. It was like I was looking at the
You
picture.
drank?
Yeah, we boiled them down. It was like the worst thing you can do. I mean, it was like they tasted horrible.
You
drinking
eat
this.
mushrooms.
I didn't eat them. I drank them.
Well, that's why it
I
didn't
think.
work.
What were you? Somebody was selling you a bill of goods. They were telling you
They
they
got
were
$40
mushrooms.
for
Yeah, it was the
$5.
same. Yeah, it was the same.
Man,
yeah, it was the same-
you are just about the stupidest
guy
drug.
there.
You're just about the
He's
stupid.
like, oh, this is a guy that drinks the mushrooms. We
You're
can
like the
sell him
stupidest
anything.
drug
That's probably
user I've
oregano
ever
in that
known.
bottle.
Listen,
Matter of fact, that's what it said on the other side.
What did he take?
That's why the cap was so cute.
yeah, listen, laugh all you want, but you can look it up.
Okay, let's all laugh all we want. We're not through.
But anyway, that was a.
Doug's on crack even when he's not on crack.
Yeah.
Oh, shut the hell.
Wasn't Fisher's
Anyway,
last name?
Did you tell him to shut the hell up?
Yeah, I sure did.
Why?
Anyway,
What gives you the right to tell my friend Phil Meyer, who did drugs with me years ago, to
I'm
shut up?
Phil. Phil's actually given me some very good advice, so I'll just leave it at that. But no, that was a form of taking them. You take the mushrooms, you boil them down, and then you drink them, and it was like the nastiest tasting stuff.
Did you ever do mushrooms, Phil?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever boil them down?
No.
You just ate them, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, I mean, that was like the first time I ever did mushrooms, so I was like a novice. Somebody was like showing me how they did it.
How much did they charge you, Doug, when they gave you these drinkable mushrooms?
Because we went to a counter and picked the mushrooms ourselves, so they were free. And my parents
picked them yourself?
Yeah. It was like you had to pick them. You had to watch out what type you picked, so you didn't get like a poison one. And
I remember they used to ferment in a jar for a long time.
No, these were fresh. We go out to the field. We picked them. You had to look. This has been years ago. And as I said, I was a novice. Somebody else was doing it. We went out and picked a whole bunch of them, took them home, boiled them down. My parents were like in Europe, so I had this party at this house, like this mushroom party, and other stuff too. And we boiled, and so they drank. It was like this, it looked like prune juice.
You sure you just didn't get an upset stomach?
Or aren't you sure maybe you didn't get?
God, it was nasty.
You didn't get prune juice?
I don't have a sense of smell, and
By the way, you may notice your story is so interesting that Patrick decided to use this time to grab it and stab it.
I think he just went out and they gave him some toadstools and said, "Hey, you'll get so high off this."
Yeah, well, enough of your drug stories. How many here have done LSD?
Me.
I knew Mark would raise his hand.
I've done acid, but not LSD. Though.
Oh, jeez.
What?
Wait a minute. Did you hear that?
I think LSD is.
Wait a minute. Did you hear that, Mark?
There's different
He
forms
didn't
of
do
acid.
LSD, but he did acid.
Is it the same thing?
That's like, the stupidest remark I ever heard was Neil Schon, was a member of Journey. I got to know his ex-wife.
She was a real package.
Huh?
I knew her too. She was a real package.
Yeah. But I got to know her, and she told me the stupidest thing that Neil Schon ever said. I mean, he said quite a few stupid things because this is not what you would call a rocket scientist. But he came home from a worldwide concert tour, and she said to him, "So did you get to France?" And he said, "No, but we went to Paris." That's the same thing like Doug just said.
Yeah.
Now,
No, I didn't
she
do
was
LSD,
a pretty high
but
maintenance looking gal, wasn't she?
I wouldn't know. I didn't know her as that really.
No, well, just for appearance. I only met her at the station.
Yeah, she was hot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was.
Yeah, but and I think she got herself a few bucks when that one was over.
See, it's too bad there's no more rewinds because this would have been a perfect GABNet rewind.
Well, we'll be playing this show over the weekend, so it's
okay.
There's one of the shows we play, so we have that option now. All we're going to do now is just take the shows and play them as they ran, and
Yeah.
The reason the rewinds were so much fun was because of the comments that Rob was making. But when I asked Rob to do this, because I had a feeling this was coming, and I asked him if he would do it, and I told him we would do away with him doing the rewinds because that would be asking too much of him.
Yeah, that's
really.
Absolutely.
I know how to rewind this show. Watch.
There's my picture and everything. Yeah. Oh man. But LSD is acid, you moron.
I mean, isn't there like different types of acid, like water acid? And I mean, I thought
it's the same.
Oh yeah, they come in different varieties.
Different forms,
you get
but it's the same drug.
You get hired.
Yeah.
It's different.
Pain.
Well, excuse me that I was not an expert on acid, and I guess that makes me a pretty good person overall. Because I mean, as I said, I only did acid
and
like
you mean
2
I'm an
times.
evil person because I knew everything about LSD?
Oh
No,
God!
I never.
That it stood for lysergic acid diethylamide, and was discovered by a Dr. Hoffman when he was working for Sandoz in Switzerland.
I'm sorry, I'm not Timothy Leary when it comes to acid. But anyway, I tried it a couple times along with a lot of other things on top of that. So, to be honest with you, I couldn't tell you what the effects of acid was because, pot
Wait,
and
wait.
Coke and
No,
alcohol
no, no, no.
on top of that. You know,
If you're
without-
taking acid, there's no mistake
Well,
of what the
Oh
effect
yeah, for
is.
24 hours, you
Actually,
know
no,
it.
it's only 8 hours.
For-
8 hours.
well,
For
8
me,
hours,
it seemed to
yeah.
feel like
Yeah,
it lasted.
but
I was up for like probably
and I was
like doing
the
party
actual
activity.
high itself only lasts 8 hours. It actually, you could time it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, kind of.
I remember the first time I took it, and I waited for something to happen, and nothing was happening.
Takes
So
a while to kick in.
decided I had to go to the bathroom. So I went to the bathroom, and as I'm washing my hands, I look in the mirror. My face started to melt.
Oh.
And the first thing I said was, "Jesus Christ, this stuff works." And then I went out into my living room, and there was my cat, and he had turned into a stained glass window cat.
Oh,
I mean, that
gosh.
was pretty cool.
I mean,
Kitty.
I was hoping for that, but I did not get that effect. As I said, the only thing I ever got was like when I drank.
I would hate to think what
That's
you would
because your friends
hallucinate.
gave you pieces of construction paper and charged you $50 for it, and all it was acid.
I had a friend that was so into the acid lifestyle. He was a guide in the psychedelic church with Baba Ram Dass. And when I was 16 years old, we used to drop acid. He would guide you through the trip. Even though he was tripping along with you, he had all sorts of different things that you would do. You watch the sunrise. You know, there was all sorts of things that made the trip a really enjoyable experience. And the one time that I did it and he wasn't there, I didn't have that great of an experience, and that was the last time I tried it. I was probably 17.
You should always have a guide.
Mhm.
You know,
Did you do the old wax on, wax off thing and all that?
No.
That's in there.
The adults are talking now, Doug.
Wax.
No,
What? Wax?
you always
Whatever.
need the responsible way was to have somebody who was straight who could just be there. What they meant by a guide was pretty much just tell you, hey, no, that isn't a stained glass cat, you know.
Yeah.
But he not only did that, but made the experience. You had different experiences, and he would make sure that you interacted with these different experiences, and it was a positive, very positive way to go.
Yeah. Yes, Mark.
I was kind of fortunate because one of my high school friends' mom was a contemporary of the Beats, and she was kind of connected to the drug culture as it was.
Yeah.
One of her best friends was the guy who was the model for the Zigzag Paperman.
Oh.
The pirate.
No, his name. Well,
Long-haired
his nickname
guy.
was Chuckles, and when I met him, he was way into. He was not a young man. He might have been into his 70s, and he was an interesting dude. I mean, this guy's history also taught me the basics of knife fighting, which is kind of cool. But when it came to finally doing, okay, I want to try acid, he gave me Aldous Huxley's book.
Doorways of Perception.
Yeah, and he said, read this first, kid. And I'm happy I did. I got to tell you, the first time was interesting because, seeing all the weird stuff. The second time was when I had that first truly transcendental moment.
Transcendental.
Yeah, but it was
Transcendental would mean
that.
between teeth.
Yeah, it was exactly that. It was like something in my brain connected to what I read, and
well, the first time you do it, it's a novelty. It's like it's a place you've never been before.
Alex Greenwich Village never looked the same to me after that.
Well,
point.
I was living in Houston, Texas at the time, and you needed it to make Houston, Texas look better. But what I did then when I came to New York, I mean, I remember once being in upstate New York for the weekend, and we took some acid, and lying there, and the most interesting hallucination I ever had was I hallucinated the first time I had ever had sex. And when the first time you ever have sex, you think it's the dirtiest thing you've ever done. And I looked back at it and said, my God, it was the most innocent thing I ever did. Because I didn't know what I was doing. I was groping my way through this thing. And I saw it. Like I had a movie screen in front of me, and I was watching myself having sex for the first time. Man, that was a good drug. Your own porno What?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, any of you who've done acid, is there any like music that if you listen to it when you're on acid that you really remember, that you totally identify with, like the time you tripped because you wanted to listen to it over and over again?
It all sounded better than it really was.
Oh my God!
The Vandenberg variations. Don't ask me why. To me, I was hearing music of the Spheres.
Inagata-Davida.
I was.
Well, of course, it was always. Listen, there was always Sergeant Pepper, and the piano note at the end of it. And if you were really high, you could hear the chair squeak.
Yeah. There was. I remember that the album that I remember the most. It might sound stupid now, but remember Enigma, their first album.
Please, they're called black people.
Okay.
I kind of remember.
Come on.
Kind of a far memory.
It sounds really corny now because it's like all this sensual kind of beats and stuff. But me and my girlfriend and I listened to that album 10 times, and every time I hear a song from that album, it takes me back to that night. And it was just...
Well, on my first trip, I listened to the whole Sgt. Pepper album. That was one thing we did.
Yeah. And Pet Sounds is good, too.
Pet Sounds was very good. Procol Harum I always liked.
Yeah.
You know, Whiter Shade of Pale.
My last trip, I invented a new math called Zion 2000. And the whole time...
Okay, I'm getting out of here now.
I was amazed that I invented this thing. And then after the trip, I couldn't remember anything.
You sound like that crazy brother from A Serious Man. You know, the Coen Brothers movie there with the new math and all that.
Yeah, all I remember is the word Zion 2000, but I don't remember any of the unbelievable things I thought I had invented.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you something.
I guess you better do the acid again. Maybe you'll...
Bill, when you get your T-shirt frame there? I thought you were going to get your, sweatshirt.
I will. I've got
that's probably going to be pretty expensive. It's probably about $250 to get that thing framed and matted and all that.
Probably.
Now we've left Frackin' Cat out of this, Mr. Cat. Any comments on any of this? I don't think so. I don't think. I bet Cat hasn't done drugs. Am I right about that, Cat?
I've tried one.
One. What did you try?
Catnip.
I tried the
catnip.
Oh, well, does that one count? Then I've got a problem with that one.
Yeah. But no. What did you try?
I tried the weed.
The weed.
Yeah.
The weed.
Good man.
And it doesn't sound like you kept doing it though.
Well, no. It's nothing I've had a chance to try again. You know, I didn't really have a bad experience with it. It was just, the one time, and I took a couple of hits off of it, and I didn't know, I've never done it before, so I didn't know I was doing it right.
It's very hard. It's very hard to get high the first time because you don't know exactly when you're high.
Yeah. That was the thing. I didn't. Well, I was like, is this supposed to happen? Is this? And then I ended up taking I think there's 3 or 4 really big hits, and eventually it kicked in, and
meow.
I didn't say anything at first. It felt like I didn't know what was going on, and I was like, am I supposed to panic now? Is something wrong? Is my body just going to shut down? I'm going to freak out. And I think after about 3 or 4 minutes of that, everything kind of finally went, hey,
calm down.
Yeah, well, you get to the point of the oh fuck it stage. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like
it's not going to kill me.
Yeah. The best hit of cocaine I ever had was the first hit, and then from then
everything
on,
else was
nothing else that ever equaled that.
Oh right. You know what I did once? I quit, as I told you, I quit cocaine, but once a year I would do it. On New Year's Eve, I would get myself
Surrounded by a bunch of people that had cocaine.
No, I would buy it, and then I would do it with whoever the girlfriend happened to be at the time that year. And I did it, and I thought that after not doing it for a year or two, that, man, I'd get that punch again. No, it's just where you left off. You know, there's a certain kind of memory your body has and goes, no, this is as good as it's going to get, pal. You may as well just take your money and flush it down the toilet.
And it was never as good as the first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Continue on.
Yes, Doug.
Anyway, I can't remember if it was like the first time I smoked pot or either smoked tobacco, but it was like 8th grade. Remember this buddy and I'm pretty sure it was pot. Anyway, we're like those little pathway, this like for woods. We're like
everybody smoke if you got him. He'll be through in a couple of minutes here. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to finish up real quickly. But anyway, all of a sudden we hear this cat going, meow, meow, meow. And we turn around.
Please, you're getting fracking cat hot.
4-year-old swinging her cat around by the tail.
What?
It was like the best laugh in the world, even as mean as hell as the cat and all that.
Terrible.
I would have killed that person. I would have literally decked them for doing that.
But we're like, 8th graders.
That's really, we have a cat here in our midst.
Yeah, dude, that's not funny.
That's not funny.
It was funny.
Especially with
No, we're telling you, Doug, it's not funny. It's cruelty to animals.
Funny back then.
How would you like it if a giant cat?
Oh, excuse me. It happened a long time ago, and back then, taking cats and making them suffer was okay. Today, it's not. So
I was 13 back then. I'm 54 now. I can appreciate.
Doesn't matter. The cat doesn't know that.
But when I was 13, there's different, mindset and everything else. And
there's now statute of limitations on.
That's right. I was a minor. So I can be
guilty.
You can be as big as charged. So what's your excuse for being an asshole now?
Now I was a stone miner back then. So anyway, I'm excused.
Yeah.
But that was my first experience seeing some old kid swinging a cat around by the tail.
But so cat, since then you haven't tried it.
No, just haven't had the opportunity.
Well, I
work too much. So.
I can't say that I get high on anything anymore, really. I mean, girlfriend loves to smoke her weed, and she'll ask me if I want to puff, and I guess if I don't have a show to do, I won't do it. But if I have a show to do, I might try it. But I don't care anymore. I really don't.
I don't think I would. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
More reason to do it.
Shut up, Doug. Cat's talking.
Well, I wouldn't be opposed to doing it again. I just haven't had the opportunity, and I work so much, and
you're going to have plenty of opportunity, I'm sure.
Whoever has the time anymore to get high. I can't imagine where I could.
I do.
Yeah.
we just lost Tony. I guess he had to go to sleep.
He's got to go get high.
Tony looked like he was ready to kill himself when we started with the strippers 25 minutes ago. You know, I mean, and then we went into drugs and
sex and rock and roll.
Well, Tony has a limited repertoire of what you can talk about and keep Tony interested.
Comic books.
Comic books.
He stayed on.
Huh?
He stayed on. I think he enjoyed it.
And then, but what he does enjoy staying on, and he every now and then, the thing I love about Tony. I mean, to begin with, Tony's a lovely human being. He's just a lovely guy. Okay.
Good guy.
You've never met him. I have.
I can tell.
He's a great. He's really a sweet guy. But he, his world is limited. It's not as expanded as a lot of ours are. And I don't know if there's anything wrong with that. But I understand it when he goes, well, I'm tired of this now, But every now and then he will say something. And he will be so spot on, it'll be ridiculous, It's
There's a movie like that with Peter Sellers. Chauncey Gardner.
Well, I remember once I think David put down Tony and his dog. And Tony wrote on the Facebook page, what was it? Well, at least my only problem is a dog. I don't show up on the citizens panel without my shirt on. And I just went, the guy is bliss. I mean, I love David too, but it was so perfect, So occasionally he's just perfect.
Hey, have anybody heard anything from David?
Yeah,
he was on Albert's show yesterday.
And he was on our show the night before.
Yeah, he was on Alex's show yesterday. Have you heard anything since then?
Well, not in 24 hours. No, what?
Yeah, he's recovering. I talked to him for a couple minutes. I think it was after your show, Alex, on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And he seemed to be doing all right. Like
Patrick,
on the show.
is he recovering from the
What
veins or from some other kind of
Well,
operation?
they operated on the prostate, didn't they?
Yeah, they did the prostate. Now he's just waiting for the other leg.
Let that be a lesson to you, Pat, Phil.
Bill.
They operated on him within hours after he landed
Definitely.
in
Now,
Czechoslovakia.
When he got on, he said they hadn't done the prostate yet, and that they were looking into it.
He just landed. He practically just landed.
Well, he was there 2 days already. Yeah.
Their prostate.
Still just landed.
Shut up, Doug. Shut
So,
up.
Patrick,
Doug, put yourself on mute for a while, will you?
Okay.
Okay. Anyway,
Prostate is done.
wow.
yeah.
It's done, and he's recovering from that. He seems to be fine. And now it's waiting on the varicose vein on the other leg, which is nowhere near. He doesn't have the pain or anything like that.
Yeah.
They're just going to nip it in the bud before it gets worse because it's on the family.
I thought they did his other leg in the States.
No, they only did one leg.
They only
Wow.
did one leg, and while they were in surgery, I believe, they discovered it on the other leg that it was starting. And so they diagnosed it, and then now that he's over in Prague, they're going to do, I guess, almost the same way with the prostate, catch it early enough, and hopefully eliminate something down the road. Because remember, he was dealing with blood clots in the leg, and by doing it early, hopefully that'll eliminate it.
What I don't understand is how they can get a biopsy that, these people don't test to see that there's actually a cancer there before they go in and operate.
No, he found they affirmed that when he was in the United States and passed the information along to the people in Czechoslovakia.
And the Czech doctors would operate based on other people's examination.
It doesn't take very much to find out whether you have prostate cancer or not.
Well, when they did the biopsy on me, they went in there, they snipped, they take these
They did a
13
biopsy.
snips.
I asked him. They did a biopsy on him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The only thing, Phil, that bothers me about your thinking is you think that
I just didn't see how they could do it so
medicine
fast.
in Czechoslovakia must be done with like leeches and and some guy
No, it has
rattling
nothing
some
to do with that.
bones. What?
I just can't understand how they would operate based on not doing the test themselves.
Because tests were done in the United States, and I think they did tests when he got there. Yes, Patrick.
Medical records are medical records. All they need to do is authorize them and send them over. And from what I understood, from what David said, is the doctors here were in contact with the doctors over there. And it's no different, like for me, I have two different hospitals that I have doctors that I go to on a regular basis. Now, they don't share information because they're competitors.
Right.
However, if I tell them I need these records, they release them to me, and then I give them to my other doctors at the other hospital. So it's kind of the same thing, and they're not going to second guess what's there. They may retest if they feel they need to, but my guess is the discussion between the doctors here and there was enough that, and I'm sure when they went in for the surgery, they made sure that what was said was correct. I'm sure they didn't just go in there with leeches, like Alex said, and a screwdriver and see what they could do.
And the bill you get there, all you need to do is, you can pay by check.
Yeah, with a check.
Hey, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm going to have to take off. It was good talking to everybody.
Hey, listen, Kat, please call again. We love hearing from you. I often wondered why you avoided my show, so I'm glad you called.
I'm working usually. So.
Yeah, well, when you can, I'd love to hear from you.
Pretty soon I'll have more time.
Yeah, because you're moving down to Southern California.
Yeah.
To live with a friend of ours.
Yeah, you probably heard of her. So.
Yeah, I've heard of her. And by the way, as long as we got you here, plug your podcast so people know it's on.
MidnightMovieNights.com with a K.
With a K.
With you and Miranda, and you do it live just like with a live stream going on. And it's on Sunday nights?
Saturday
nights, excuse me.
Yeah.
Saturday nights at what time?
Yeah, usually around, usually about 9 p.m. Pacific sometimes.
Yeah. And
just depends, it kind of fluctuates.
Yeah.
But it's usually around that time.
And you did you say you had a record length show the other night?
Kind of. We ended up talking to somebody for like 7 hours. But there was a moment. There was like 2 hours we weren't on the air.
Oh, okay.
We ended the show, and then like a couple hours later, we were still talking to our guest.
For 7 hours.
Well, we ended up talking to another person too, from another podcast.
Let's try talking for 7 hours straight.
I would if you weren't here, Doug. Anyway, thanks, Kat. I appreciate it. Call us again, will you, please?
Yeah, we'll have to talk, Alex.
Okay, bye-bye.
Yeah.
Yes, Patrick.
Yeah, I was just going to say that you should try that, Alex. Tonight, marathon, 7 hours. I did it with one of my ex-girlfriends when she lived in Florida. I was on the phone with her for 8 hours one night.
Really?
Did you
I
break up
thought you
with
were
her at
going to
the
say it
end?
was a sex marathon.
Did you break up with her at the end?
It was just mundane talking. So.
Well, let's see here. I'm trying to remember. One time, and I think I was on mushrooms, oddly enough, I had a long sex romp with somebody that lasted about 7 hours.
Ooh.
Yeah. Hey, Yub Yub's here. She just joined us. She got back from dinner with her parents. How are you, Miranda?
She waited till Cat left.
Yeah, Cat just left.
I just turned on the stream and I heard the cat's voice. What gives?
Well, I was so happy. I was delighted. Because I felt maybe he didn't like me or something because he never ever called me, But now I feel inclusive.
What a cute T-shirt.
Well, yeah, what is that T-shirt you're wearing?
Oh, here, let me fix the lights. Hold on one. I'll be right back.
It's TV night, so the audience can actually see.
Oh, it's very cute.
They're like two little balloons. Oh, she's got to go turn on the lights. There we go.
Yeah.
And she turns off the other lights. It's mood lighting she sets up here.
Shirt.
She doesn't want to be backlit.
Two balloons.
There we go. Now, what is it?
Ice cream cone.
Oh, it's an ice cream cone. It's
two ice cream cones.
Two ice cream cones. Are they in love?
Still muted, I think.
I just thought it was cute, so I got it.
Yeah.
I like that it was the ice cream cones forming the heart. So.
Oh, it's a heart. Oh, okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's pink flavor, whatever pink flavor is. I guess that would be strawberry and
vanilla.
I prefer cherry.
Cherry? Okay.
Not bubblegum.
Yeah.
Bubblegum's good. You know what it is? The ice cream man always sold the Pink Panther ones with the bubblegum eyes. Yeah, and it had the pink coating with the vanilla ice cream underneath.
Oh, really?
It can be an evolution of the Pink Panther ice cream.
I didn't know that.
Never knew about that.
We have ice cream trucks here, but they just rip you off. How much is it?
Is Carvel still in business?
Carvel's still in business. And are they out in California too?
No, I just went to one when I was on the East Coast last year. We went to Carvel's.
Yeah. Carvel was okay. Carvel was okay. There's just something about the ice cream truck. I don't know what it is. I know it's just, aerated ice cream. And then I have them dip it in chocolate. And as I'm walking down the street on a hot day, it's dripping down my arm. It's the most disgusting experience you can possibly have. But somehow I love doing it. Whenever I see the truck, I go, give me one. I never know what the price is going to be. Sometimes it's $2, sometimes it's $3.
You're paying to relive a childhood experience.
Oh, by the way,
don't send Doug to get it for you. It'll be $40.
I can show Miranda because she's here now. See that? I put something on the bottom of my magic mouse, and then I do that, and
I've seen it.
Yeah,
I've seen those before. That's pretty cool.
It's really cool.
Hey, have you ever noticed a Carvel?
See that?
What's that?
You don't have to charge it. So it's a pen for Wacom tablet.
Oh, Welcome Wascom. Wascom?
Yeah, WACOM.
Yeah.
Wascally Wabbit? What?
You know what he's talking about.
Yeah, I know.
I thought that was just something you shoved up your ass for fun.
Oh yeah, baby.
Yes.
Yeah, there we go.
You know something? I want to tell people, if you're watching, if you're watching the video right now, you can see the second most annoying thing about Doug. First most annoying is Doug. And the second most annoying is the way he holds his hand up saying he wants to talk.
But that's the Boy Scout
honor, Yeah, I mean, Boy Scout from Hitler. I mean, my God, you ought to appreciate that there.
No, it's not from Hitler. It's just the Boy Scout.
I used to do the Zeke Heil thing. I'm trying to do the Boy Scout thing, and I still get criticized for it. Anyway, but but we had the Carvel chain. We had about like not three restaurants, but ice cream parlors here down in Wilmington. And the one thing I always notice, I'm not big into ice cream, but I do like a milkshake occasionally.
Yeah.
And all their cups had like a fill line, which was like it was like nowhere near the top of the top of the cup there. So you feel like you're getting cheated there. But the last one that stayed open in Wilmington was like it was like the worst service in the world. They had like this big. I don't stereotype, and I'm not talking about.
What are you talking about?
Huge black guy. I mean, if you want.
Oh no!
Yes, thug.
Not a black guy. A huge one.
This guy was
black guy.
And they had like the employee of the month.
I'm not even at Carvel. Yeah, go ahead. I'm not even at Carvel, and I'm getting brain freeze.
This guy was so intimidating looking. It was like the clothes, because I went there a few times. It was like, this guy's attitude sucks. Has anybody ever trained this guy? He's like, hey, who the fuck you want? Like,
boy, what a raconteur you are. I hope that you people can invite you to parties and you can tell all these stories of your adventures in life.
It's true. I swear to God, it's true. And there's no Carvels down here anymore.
What's the show about tonight? Why Doug hates Carvel.
We brought a Carvel. I mean, I was just giving my little experience with Carvel there, which was horrible.
Do you know how Carvel started?
What's that?
In Yonkers, New York, Carvel. I understand that the guy had a truck. It broke down. The ice cream was melting, and then they started serving soft serve ice cream.
Well, I don't know that that's necessarily the answer, because that stuff, in order to become soft serve, has to be whipped. So you're adding air to it. So I don't know. I don't know if that's just not some kind of urban legend.
But
I would tend to think. Shut up, Doug. I would tend to think that some Miranda breakup. I would tend to think that the reason they came out with the soft serve is because by adding air to it, you created more volume and you saved a lot of money on it. That's what
probably.
Yeah. That'd be the bottom line.
Yeah, but quickly, anybody have a favorite treat at Carvel? Like maybe what was it? The whale? What was Fudgy the whale?
Cookie Puss.
Cookie Puss. You like Cookie Puss?
Cookie Puss.
Yeah.
Didn't they have a banana split?
No, it's still there.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, folks. That's my joke for tonight. Thank you. Yeah. I had to say it. It's my job. Hey, listen to that music. You hear that music? That's the music we pay $99 a year for. Yeah? How's that?
Well worth it.
And look, Miranda's dancing. Diane used to dance. But we can't see her right now because she's
moving.
Can you guys see her? Or is your picture?
Yeah.
No, I can't see her.
No twirly things, but
no twirly things. Thank you very much, Patrick and Miranda and Doug and Dan and Diane and Mark. And I did say Doug, didn't I? That makes him feel like he's welcomed. Anyway, thanks to all of you. We'll see you again on Monday. Revelstoke Jim is next over most of the same station. We'll see you Monday night. In the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay?
Well,
good night.
Okay, everybody, we're off. Yeah. And some of you are still on. Have a good night. Thanks, Miranda, for jumping in the last moment. And thank you.
I was glad to catch the tail end. I'm going to have to catch
Yes.
the rest of it on the archive.
Yes, I've told the cat that he's going to be. I call him Mr. Cat because I have respect for him.
My brother's cat's name, by the way, Mr. Cat.
Mr. Cat. And,
Yeah.
We got to use that on midnight movie nights. They call me Mr. Cat.
Yeah, yeah. By the way, I think
after hour show or something.
I think I lost Patrick's picture too. It's whirling around.
Yeah, I lost him.
Oh, you lost him too. Anyway, hey, thanks to all of you. Really appreciate it. Really good night tonight. A lot of fun. And thank you. I'm gonna go put this thing online now. Bye.
Good night.
Okay.
Good night.
Good night, everybody. Thank you for joining us. You even got a little bit of the extra show by staying online for the video. Anyway, good night, everybody.